Hello and welcome back to How to Improvise in Music. Back to rainy Amsterdam. For the first time in weeks it has rained, which is a good thing because we were aching for it. So far we have learned about the basics of improvisation using triads. Triads can be major, minor and sometimes have a flat 5, but major and minor are the big tastes, are the big different chords. We also have seen how to convert triads and how to deal with good voice leading. Remember, good voice leading is about the outer voices being able to jump around the keyboard, but the middle voices staying as an anchor in the middle with as little movement as possible. That's just one trick. If you want to learn more about voice leading, you can study your life away. I have a tip for you. If you want to study with improvisation, there's an app for iPhone, iPad, Android devices. It's called iReal Pro. I will put the name in the text below. iReal Pro makes a accompaniment of a chord structure for you. So you can just type in the chords and you will hear a piano player, a bass player and a drummer play the chords along in the tempo that you choose. So I use iReal Pro a lot just to study improvisation. And I have to say, this is the improvisation where you have a new melody over an existing harmony, which is what we do in jazz music. Okay, next step. We've told you a lot, we've worked a lot with triads. Triads have a root note, a third, and a fifth. And we can see if we move up the scale, the triad changes in color. This is a major chord, a major triad. This is a minor triad. This is also a minor triad. And just to give you a quick reminder, we say that a chord on a certain degree in the scale has a certain color. That is, this is the first degree of C major. The first degree in a major scale is a major chord. The second degree, however, in the major scale is a minor chord. So we will work a lot with these degrees, because independent of the key that you play in, the same degree will always sound the same. So the second degree in F major is also a minor chord. So I know exactly that the second degree in F major, in the scale of F major, is G minor. Now we're going to build up on triads, because now we only have 3 notes, and 3 notes is not enough, of course. We need to add more color. So you see how we build the triad. 1, 3, 5. If we do this, we can of course continue. 7, 9, 11, and then it's 13. And if we add another third, we're back at the root note again. So we count to 13. Don't memorize 13. First, I will show you what it's like to play with 7th chords, because that's what we're dealing with today. So if we play in C major, we go along the scale of C major. We have, of course, the same method of explaining chords. So the first chord in C major is, big surprise, C major 7. And the major 7 in C major 7 doesn't apply to the third in the chord, it applies to the 7th. So we have a C major triad with a major 7th. Look closely. Do I have a major 7th between the bottom C and the top 7? Yes, I do. It's a major 7th. Now we go up the scale. So we take the same grouping of notes and we put it on the second degree. What happens here? We have a minor triad and we have a minor seventh. Look closely between the root note and the 7. We have a minor seventh. This chord is called D minor 7. Third degree, same thing. Third degree in C major is E minor 7, because again we have a minor triad and a minor 7. Fourth degree, this is major 7 again. It's a major triad and it's a major 7. On the fifth degree we have a different chord. We have here a major triad with a minor 7. Look at the 7 between the root note G and the 7 F. It's a minor 7. This chord has a very special characteristic to it. It has what we call this tritone interval, this augmented fourth or diminished 5. It is between the 3 and the 7. Look here. That makes this chord have a lot of tension. This chord really wants to resolve into something, and we already told you about the classic tension to release progression, that is 5-1. And now we have landed on the 5, we've landed on the 5th degree. So this chord really wants to go to 1. You hear it's a very classic transition. So 5-1, dominant chord, we call 7th chords dominant chord, major triads with a small 7. We call them dominant chords. So on the 5th degree we have a dominant chord. And that wants to resolve to 1. Okay, we're almost done. We were stuck at 5, a G7 chord. Listen to me, I'm not saying G major 7 or G minor 7, I'm just saying G7, which means it's a small 7, it's a minor 7, and it's a major third. Now we move on to the 6th degree. Here we have a minor 7 chord again, because we have a minor triad and a small 7. A minor 7. So the 6th degree is a minor 7 chord, and in this case it is A minor 7. Now one last strange one on the 7th degree. This doesn't sound well because it has the same tension in it. It also has this augmented 4th or diminished 5th in it. The 7th degree is hardly ever used because it has tension, but it has no place to resolve to. So some composers use the 7 as a dominant, so you get this, because then it will resolve to 1. And there is some sort of tension release feeling to it, once again. But it's not as big as this one. 5-1 is the classic tension release progression. Alright. One last thing, of course, these 7th chords, 4-voice chords, can also be flipped around, turned around. You can play them all over the keyboard. So to give you an example, this is a C major chord. C major 7, I have to say. This is F major 7. D minor 7. G7, and it resolves to C major 7. So also these 7th chords can be spread all over the keyboard, and the same voice leading tip is still in place. Please try to minimize your movement in the middle voices, and the bass can go all over the place. So to give you some examples. You can hear that the added 7th really adds extra color to the chord, because just major chords sound major or minor and they sound a bit plain. But if you want to have a more bluesy or a more jazzy sound or a more composed sound, you can use the 7th to give it extra color. So four voice leading is of course a lot harder than 3 voice leading. So it takes a lot of practice. Please download the app iReal Pro and start playing around with only a bass player. You can just switch off the drummer, you can switch off the piano player, and you can have a scheme of chords, a chord structure, and it will give you a nice 4-beat count in, and you can just practice on voice leading with your 7th chords. We will go into practicing with chords in the next section. I think I've covered now 3 voice and 4 voice chords profoundly, but practicing takes of course a lot of practice, because if you're improvising you don't have time to think about the chords. You have only time to think about a new melody, so the chords should be an automatism. So you should really master those chords in such a way that you can find them anywhere on your instrument. That's enough for now. Thank you very much and join me next time. Bye bye.